Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the latest Cablecast technical training on web video workflows. We will be going over the seamless workflow that you can have using your Cablecast automation system, going directly from adding files for your channel to playing those out on all platforms, including web and OTT, as well as your channel playback. I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Ryan to get started.
All right, thank you, Michelle. My name is Ryan Hickok. I am the Cablecast technical trainer here at Cablecast Community Media, and we are going to be going over the web video workflows that is available to seamlessly put out your content on multiple platforms. So before we get in there, why should we use Cablecast over some of the other kind of content distribution things out there like Vimeo, YouTube, things like that? Some of the benefits with Cablecast is it's one seamless system that you're already working in it. You're already creating all your content. And if you're subscribing to the Cablecast Reflect service, you get a Cablecast Screenweave app for Roku and Apple TV. I do want to note, if you are going to be using or want to use the Roku app or the Apple TV app that we offer, you have to have a active current Cablecast Reflect service subscription. That is the way that we are able to push all that content out through the Cablecast Reflect service. So if you're wanting to take advantage of the OTT stuff that we offer, you're going to need that Cablecast Reflect service. But in addition with that, the video on demand, the live streaming, benefit to that as well is the fact that it's all ad-free. You're not going to be getting other targeted ads. You're not going to get any of that stuff. You're controlling it. You're customizing the branding and style. You're customizing the gallery and collections that you're displaying on your home pages. And you can have it all match the same branding and style across all of those different platforms as well. So you have that one seamless brand and look, whether it be Roku, Apple TV, your website, your public site, whatever you're planning on using to distribute that VOD and live streaming content in there. Viewer metrics are also included, so you can get VOD view counts right in your reporting functionality inside the software. So when you're generating all your playback data for your last month's worth of content going out on your cable channels, you can also check a box when you're doing your reporting, and it's also going to give you all of your video on demand counts and things like that. Also, the Cablecast public site can also utilize Google Analytics to gather even more information. So you can create a Google Analytics account, put your ID in there, and we'll show you kind of some of those different things that you can do with customizing the public site today. And you'll be able to get some of that analytics and that data of who's visiting, how much are they visiting, how long they're staying on certain pages of your public site as well. So you do have a lot of that great flexibility built into our platform. So let's take a look at this in action and kind of go through it. So we're going to kind of talk about just the process. We aren't going to go into very much detail on like how to create a VOD file. We've kind of gone over that. A lot of you probably have already been using VOD and things like that. We're going to give you a good overview on that process, but we're going to show you the capabilities of everything beyond creating that file. So things like we're going to touch base on chaptering. We're going to show you the public site and some of the things that you can do with it. And then also show you the utilization of the OTT stuff as well with that. So of course, when you're creating a show record, it's real easy within our software. Whenever you're creating the show record to be able to schedule it out on your channel, we're going to go to our shows. We're just going to find a show in here. Let's just say our Blue Ox cybersecurity webinar that we held. And all you simply need to do is click on that checkbox right there that says VOD enabled. Once you have that box checked, you hit save. The system's going to do everything else for you. You do not need to do it. It's going to process it. It's going to start transcoding, and it's going to get it available and ready for you to be able to distribute out there. You don't even have to hit a publish button after that. Once it's done processing, it's available on your public site for people to be able to view, or however you're distributing that information. So being able to enable stuff for video on demand is really simple right in the software. Now, once you actually have your stuff created, we can go and look at our internet video. We can go over our video on demand stuff, and we can look at all of our different video on demand content that we have here. If we want to, we can go and look at it. actually be able to preview it as well as we want, and add in all of our different chapter marks. So as you can see here, we've chaptered this video. So when people are watching this on our public site, they can be able to go in, select that chapter. For example, I can click right on that, and it's going to jump right to that section of our video on demand content. You can put as many chapters as you want in here. You have an unlimited number of chapters. We can jump to it wherever it is. Adding chapters is very easy as well. There's a couple of different ways to be able to do that. We can watch through our playhead here. Click on our add button. It's automatically going to recognize where your playhead is in that preview window. So it's already going to set the time code for you. You can type in your title. You can also add a body, which is a small description underneath that will be displayed. So you can even, like, let's say we're doing this for your city council meetings. You can say this is agenda item, new business. And then you can say on your body, what is covered under your new business? The police report, the fire report, whatever it may be in there. If you already know what your chapters are going to be, you can even change that time code and set whatever chapter it is that you want in there. I'm just going to hit cancel because I don't want to add in another chapter. You can edit, you can delete, you can also directly link to these different chapters as well. So if you wanted to say, hey, this is that agenda item that we're talking about, you can get a direct link to that specific time code and spot, and you can share that on either Facebook, Twitter, or you can just copy that link directly as well. So there's a lot of cool functionality with video on demand that we can also do. Now, once we have that video on demand file created, we can also customize our public site. So that public site is going to be under our settings, and it's going to be under our channel settings, which is under system settings, channels, select whatever channel it is, and we have our public site information right here. So each channel that you have set up with your system has the ability to have its own public site. And public site is basically where it's going to be able to distribute your public information, like your schedule, your video on demand content, show information, your live stream, whatever it may be. And it is a very easily customizable as well with this. So there's two options here, and we're going to kind of go into the public site. That's where we're editing. You can also get a view of a preview of what that is, but we're actually going to look at what it is in real time in just a second here. So when we're talking about our public site, there's a lot of editing and customization that we can do, and I'll briefly go over all these in here. So with our header, we can set our name, we can add logos, graphics, things like that to brand it, customize it, whatever it may be. So if you're a full PEG facility where you have a public, an educational, and a government channel, you can have a separate header for each of those individual public sites so that it customizes and brands it accordingly to that channel that you're showing. You can also customize your color schemes where we've got a color picker. You can also put in your hexadecimal information in there as well. Your homepage is really neat in here, and maybe this will be something that I can just quickly show. So your homepage of our public site, and this is what our public site looks like for Your Town TV. We have a slideshow up here at the top. We have these other sections down here, which we call our galleries. So we have two different galleries, and basically what a gallery is, it's a collection of shows that we can display on that homepage and have it easily accessible for our viewers or the people visiting our site to be able to find. So you could have a gallery for all your recent shows. Or in this case, like we have our SCC shows. We can show all those from that suburban community channels. Or if we wanted to have a gallery for our city council meetings, we can do that and have all those different things displayed on that homepage. Now these galleries are customizable as well as that slideshow. So if we go back here, you can select what specific slideshow you want to use in that search. So how do you select that? It's all through your custom saved searches that you're doing. So when you're going into your advanced searching in the software and you go and do your saved searches for your different things like city council meetings or your different projects or different categories or whatever it may be, you can then use those saved searches as one of your slideshows or as a gallery in here for your public site. So you can select that. You can also, with your galleries here, we can set a new gallery. We can title it, let's just say new. And we can say what kind of save search we want to do, council schedule. And then we can also say how many specific shows do we want to show in that gallery. So if we looked here, it's set up in rows of 4. So if I wanted to, I could have 4, I could have 8. If I do something like 10 or something like that, I'm going to have 2 rows of 4, and then I'm going to have a row of 2. But let's say that you have, let's say 30 shows in that search results. Well, that's where this little show all feature comes into play. You click on that, and it's going to show you all the stuff that falls under that save search in there. So you'll be able to see all the old council meetings from years past or whatever it may be. You're just displaying the 4 most recent or the 8 most recent or whatever it may be on your homepage, which is nice. So you can customize that. Like I said, I recommend and encourage our customers whenever they're setting this up to do it in increments of 4 so that you don't have an uneven row. It just kind of looks a little odd in those situations. So either do like 4, 8, 12, 16, whatever it may be. You can also rearrange the order of those by sliding those around. You can also edit, remove those. Now, one of the other neat things is we can also say what fields do we want to display when someone selects a video on demand content. So let's go back to our public site here. Let's say I want to use my Access SEC from March, April 2014. It's going to show us our chapters over here on the right. So if we do have chapter marks already in there, it's going to have that. But then in our show details over here, it's also going to give us information in there. We can pick and choose what we want to have displayed under here. So we can have things like length, our show ID. You can say, I want to display the comments field and have it as the description of whatever the show is. Things like that. You can customize exactly what it is and the amount of information that you want or do not want to display in this section here for those show details. So like in our case, we've got things like we're displaying the length. We're doing like a text field. We're showing our show IDs and we're using that show ID field in there. We have custom fields that you can also do and add in there. We have a description, which is going to be our comments. You also have the ability with the public site to also have an embedded agenda displayed, a PDF version of your agenda for your city council meetings. We have covered that in previous versions or previous webinars in the past. So if you're interested in that, we can talk to you and point you in the right direction to view those webinars that we've held in the past that talk specifically about that. One thing that I do talk to a lot of customers, if you've gone through new user training with me, is by default, some of these fields are not publicly viewable. And this is what I mean by it, because by default, we don't set anything in there. You have the ability to completely customize what fields in your show record you want to show to your public. So if, let's say, you want to use that comments field for internal comments, you can have that there. You don't want to push it out. You can maybe make a new custom field that you label description, and then you have a new field and use your custom field option in there to how you want to display it. So there's a lot of really great things that you can do. The last couple of tabs here are just some generic things to add information to your site, your public site itself. So contact information, which is then displayed at the bottom of your public site. So if we go back to our homepage, you're going to see there's our contact information. You can link directly to your Facebook, YouTube, or not your YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitter. We also have our footer, which is this right down here, which is this next tab that gives you information in there where you can put, like usually people will put it as an about of their station and information on that. This last tab here is where I was talking about Google Analytics. So if you do have a Google Analytics account, you can put in your Google Analytics ID right into this field. And once it's populated in there, it's going to start tracking information for you on your Google Analytics account. Google Analytics is free to set up. You can definitely do some Google searching, be able to find information on how to set up a Google Analytics account and how to utilize some of that functionality, how long people are staying on channel or on certain pages, what pages are more popular than others, different things like that. So you can actually see where some of that traffic is going, which is really nice and handy. The other thing that is really nice with this public site is we do give you a lot of customization factors inside the user interface. But in addition to that, the public site is completely open source as well. And we do allow you to edit the CSS file for that. So if you want to do some complete customization or more advanced things that aren't available within just the user interface, you can go in there. You can add some additional custom HTML, or you can do some other CSS edits to that, and it will be displayed. And that's the nice thing with the public site, is it gives customers that don't have the necessary resources to put out a website. They don't have a web designer, or they don't have someone with that sort of knowledge on staff. The public site is a very fast, easy way for you to be able to push out that content and be able to have a nice, very clean, professional look for your video on demand content. If you do have those capabilities, there's other features with our API that will allow you to be able to push out some of that stuff and really customize it and integrate it directly into your website, hard-coded with the API. Now, in addition to our public site, like we mentioned, if you are a Cablecast Reflect customer or have a Cablecast Reflect subscription, you have the ability to set up your Cablecast Screenweave. And this Cablecast Screenweave is our general OTT application for Roku and Apple TV. If you want to set that up, reach out to technical support, say, I want to set up my Cablecast Screenweave account and set that up in the channel. They'll give you login information. And with that, then you're able to customize what it actually is seeing in there. And so I'll kind of show you some of the customization that you have with this. Just like with the public site, where you can add your own branding, your own color schemes, your own curation of what is being seen, you have that same functionality in the Screenweave customization when you're setting up your channel. So we're going to go down to our Your Town TV account down here. And we can do a couple of different things. We can edit our content, and we can also edit our channel. Editing our channel allows you to edit your channel name, adding in your address. And that address is really helpful because with the app, it does a geolocation for when your viewers open up the app. It's going to open up for the very first time to find stations that have an active channel that are closest to them. So if you have people in your own town that go and download this app, they open it up for the first time, the first suggested option is more than likely going to be your station. We can do our auto or our artwork, so we can add logos, we can add banner graphics, things like that. When you do set up your account, we will give you information about what dimensions those images need to be in. Video metadata is also going to be some of the different information that we can field. It's like how we were setting up those different fields in our show records to be displayed on our public site. This is the same exact thing that we can do. We have 3 additional info fields that we can set, and we can decide what we want, like project name, event date, total runtime. We can put all that information there, and then we can label what it is in there. Same thing with our video description. So that video description is going to be either we can select our comments, we can also use any of those other fields that are available in there, which is really nice as well to kind of customize that look. Now, once we've customized what it displays, now we can also edit the content. What are we going to show? So editing our content, if you have live streaming, if you have multiple live streams, you can set up a live stream option with this as well. So you have your live stream that people can click on as an icon. They can watch your live stream, or they can watch your video on demand content. Now, your collections are what we call the selections of what is being displayed. So similar to like the galleries in the public site, in Screenweave, we call them collections. Now, custom collections are where you can actually create a new collection, choose the save search that you want to use, name it specifically, and it will have that in there. So this is where you can really curate what it is specifically that you have. There's also another option, what is called smart collections. And this is really neat. The smart collections allows you, if you wanted to check those boxes, what it will do is it'll look at your different projects that you've created in the software. So when you've done all your different projects and created those, or your different categories, once you've assigned content under those specific search fields or in your show records, it's going to create catalog or collections on your Screenweave page for those different projects as collections or galleries. So if you have projects already created for your city council meeting, your weekend update, or whatever it may be, all the different projects that you have, instead of having to create them all in your custom search and doing all those save searches and things like that, we can use our smart collections and it will just look at your different projects, what's showing up in there, and already create those for you. Same thing with our categories field. So if you have categories for PSAs, promos, school content, educational content, religious content, whatever it may be, it is going to look at those different categories there for you, and it's going to create those collections automatically, which is really neat. I like that feature a lot because it makes it so much easier than having to create all that stuff yourself. Once you have that, you can customize it. Then you can just publish this. It's a real simple, easy. Once you have everything out of there, I'll go back to our channels, and you have your published. There'll be an option for you to actually publish this out, excuse me, and you'll be able to publish it, and it will be displayed. Anything that you push out to your video on demand, whatever it may be, is going to simultaneously, after it's processed, going to go out to your public site. It's going to go to also your Screenweave channel as well, which is really nice. You don't have to do any extra steps. It does all that stuff in the background for you. So let's take a look at what the Screenweave app actually looks like. So we're going to show you on what it looks like on a Apple TV. The Roku app is very similar. It's just going to be a little bit different just because their user interface and their infrastructure is a little bit different. So this is the user interface for Apple TV. So once you go to your apps, it's real easy. You can just search for your app from that app store. Load it up, download it. It's a free app. You click on the Cablecast Screenweave, and you have your content there. You can search for different channels. So we have a select channel. It's going to list all of the customers that have content already created or have a TV station or a channel or Screenweave channel already created with that. So it's going to list all the stuff. So you could even watch stuff from across the country or wherever it may be in there. But we'll just look at our Yorktown TV for now, if you want to just bring that back up. So you can see we have our live stream. We also have our community media, which is one of our categories, our smart categories that it's already selected in there. And so anything that we've put under that category is going to display there. Another category that we have, scrolling down, is our Cablecast technical trainings. So it's going to display that. Awesome shows, stuff like that. It's going to show us all these different ones. That awesome shows is the one that we actually created ourselves, things with that. So if you clicked on, let's just click on one of our Cablecast trainings. Why not? Just so they can actually see kind of what it is. It's going to load it up. It's going to give us our description in there, and it's going to give us a play button. We can click on that play, and it's going to allow us to actually watch that video on demand content right there. There's our video overlay webinar that we held a while back. You can exit out of it. You can do the same thing with our live stream as well. So let's take just a quick look at our live stream. You can click on your live stream. It's going to give you a description in there as well. We can watch our live. Click on that, and it will display what our live stream looks like. Right now, we got carousel or bulletin board up at this time. So it's really neat, really functional. We have all that stuff. So if we were to push out something, it'll automatically add in there. Now, the other really neat thing that we've actually just pulled out or pushed out, just at NAB, we announced it. So if you want to go all the way back out there, Michelle, is we are now offering the ability for you to create a white labeled version of your Screenweave account. Now, this is a paid service, this is a purchase service for us to do some of this stuff. CCX Media is one of our customers here in the Twin Cities, and they have purchased this and created their own specific, simple, just for them branded Roku and Apple TV app. So instead of having to use the Screenweave app and selecting that stuff, we are looking specifically at just their content. It's branded them. When you go to your app store, you search for CCX Media or CCX Entertainment or whatever they've named it, and it's its own specific app right on the app store. There, let's just go scroll down. You'll see that we have our Screenweave app, but we also have our CCX Media specifically branded for that, which is showing their content. Like I said, that is a paid service. If that is something that you're interested in, reach out and we can point you in the right direction. We're trying to make this as simple and convenient for you to be able to push out your content to your viewers. in one fell swoop. And OTT is another way of being able to reach those people in your community, as well as reach new potential viewers that may be cutting the cord, but they still want to watch that great content that you're creating.
But thank you all for joining us. We wanted to show you this today just so that everyone's aware of the fact that, especially if you've already got a Cablecast system, and especially if you've already got a Cablecast VOD and live server, you can be doing so much with just really a single step of, putting the content on your server, putting in the metadata, and scheduling it as you normally would just for your cable channel. All this other stuff can really just happen once you configure a few things, add, a banner image, add a logo to your public site. A lot of this stuff can just happen. It updates dynamically. And one of the most important parts is that it's completely free of third-party logos and third-party terms and conditions and other content suggestions that have nothing to do with your brand or your content library. So it just gives you the ultimate control. And as all the content really moves to web and OTT distribution, this is going to become one of your most lucrative assets, like being able to have complete control and really not having to hand over any of the rights or logo displays or anything like that on your content that you're putting out there. Thank you all for joining us today. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us, info@cablecast.tv. Thank you all for joining us.